I'm Spotlight on America national investigative correspondent Angie Moreski reporting in Laredo, Texas. Ethylene oxide is an odorless, colorless, cancer-causing chemical that companies like Midwest Sterilization use to sterilize the nation's medical equipment. Now, new regulations are going into effect, but questions remain about if and when exactly that will happen.
It is a lot of information.
The Clean Air Laredo Coalition,
We're going to need probably English and Spanish.
is working to raise awareness,
All right, well, let's go.
warning citizens in this 95% Hispanic community about the dangers of ethylene oxide.
So we can try the other side, Edgar?
Ethylene oxide, or EtO, was classified by the Environmental Protection Agency as a carcinogen in 2016. It's a colorless gas used to sterilize medical equipment at nearly 100 commercial facilities across the country, including Midwest Sterilization in Laredo, Texas. And like many similar facilities, Midwest is located near residential communities. More than 80,000 people live within 5 miles of the plant, including more than 50 schools and child care centers. What is it like for this community to sit in the backyard of this facility emitting a known carcinogen?
It's very frustrating. They're just allowed to be built in the middle of a city next to schools and businesses and residential areas. It's so hard to understand how that is possible.
Tricia Cortez is a community leader fighting to lower EtO emissions since state testing showed cancer clusters here, and the EPA designated Midwest and 22 other facilities across the country high risk to nearby communities due to high levels of EtO emissions.
We want to make sure that we can stop these very dangerous levels of emissions that are coming out of this plant.
The new EPA regulations are designed to reduce EtO emissions at commercial sterilizers by 90%, but the industry is pushing back. The Ethylene Oxide Sterilization Association is now suing the EPA, calling the new rules overly broad, saying the stringent standards will put some sterilizers out of business and disrupt the medical supply chain. EtO is used to sterilize 20 billion medical devices a year, half of all sold in the U.S. Midwest in Laredo is one of the top EtO users, sterilizing 40% of surgery kits in the nation. The company declined our request for an interview, but told Spotlight without companies like Midwest, medical devices would not be sterile, putting patients at risk. Given supply chain concerns, the EPA has extended the deadline for enforcing the rule to 2 to 3 years. Midwest told Spotlight it expects to be in compliance in about a year.
Nobody is saying they're not important, but we just don't want to be the group that suffers in order for them to push out their product to the rest of the country.
The mayor's invited Midwest and their attorneys to come to City Council on several occasions.
Attorney Victor Trevino Jr. is the Laredo mayor's son and advisor, and has been a part of discussions where he says Midwest told the city they've invested more than $1 million in upgrades.
It's a matter of trusting them, but the city would rather confirm it.
I don't want to get cancer. You don't want to get cancer.
Concerns remained high in Laredo at an October town hall meeting after recent local emissions testing still showed elevated levels of EtO in the air.
We are not a sacrifice zone.
Angie Moreski,
Hi.
Spotlight on America. Spotlight discovered during our visit many residents are still unaware of the risk. You didn't know anything about EtO?
No.
Leaving groups like Tricia's even more determined to push the industry to comply with the rules.
This work is ongoing and we can't stop. Here's a little bit more on the health risks. Thank you, Ms. Thelma.
To see more on our investigation into EtO and its impact on local communities, just head over to spotlightinvestigates.com. In Laredo, Texas, for Spotlight on America, I'm Angie Moreski.